Little smoky up there, Rex. It's kind of an emotional morning. I'm inspired to say the words, heading out to San Francisco for the Labor Day weekend show. I got my hush puppies on. I guess I was never meant for glitter rock and roll. Yeah, the news of Jimmy Buffett passing hit pretty hard. I actually was introduced to Jimmy Buffett by Joe Pantorno at the Pearl on Nantucket. I don't know, a decade ago. You know, he used to do the Labor Day shows here in New England at Great Woods in Mansfield. Last time he did that was 2008 on September 4th and 6th, coincidentally, which when I was a little kid, I pretty much hated September 4th and 6th. Our birthdays fell on the days right after all our summer friends left this neighborhood and went back to their winter residences in Brockton and Needham and Mansfield. This is kind of fitting here. We've got a single swan in the middle of Follin's Pond this morning on a beautiful Cape Cod morning. We've got high pressure, 1024 high is sinking air. We've got some smoke from Canada in the sky. And no weather problems here in New England. Just a lot of sad memories, or happy memories, of the sad passing. All right, do the weather, Tim. There's a little bit of upper level energy. That's what I always used to say when it would rain in a high pressure system, causing some showers and thunderstorms in western New York this morning and this afternoon. There's not much of a surface reflection, but if you look at the surface maps from the Weather Prediction Center, right in the middle of the high, all of a sudden there's a little orange dashed line. That's a surface trough, a kink in the high. And it actually develops a low right over Cape Cod tomorrow night. A surface low in the middle of a high pressure system. I think that's just going to sort of cause the wind to be difficult to forecast. So today we have a southwest wind with the high to our south. But then when that weak low forms, we're going to get a bit of an onshore wind. So places like Boston and here on Cape Cod may be in the 70s, while inland we're in the 80s to near 90. A potential heat wave this week away from the ocean. A big high pressure system at most levels of the atmosphere. However, if you look at upper levels of the atmosphere, you do see that weak upper level energy coming through now. That goes by, you get some ridging, and then the remnant of Idalia kind of cutting off and causing a big upper level low to bring in air from eastern Canada to eastern New England. So in eastern New England, it's not going to be a heat wave, I don't think. It'll be more the Connecticut River Valley and points west. That's an interesting flow, but it keeps us dry, and it also is hurricane repellent. As for the hurricane situation, the Atlantic Ocean, just loaded with lines and colors. Post-tropical storm Idalia out there, still spinning around. Looks massive on the satellite now. Really interesting satellite image this morning. And then you have Gert back up to 45 miles an hour. Franklin and Jose have merged into a post-tropical storm. But you know where the strongest storm in the Atlantic is? Way up near Greenland. It's a 958 low. Want to check out the weather at Summit Station in Greenland? Now, it is a summit. It's up around 10,000 feet. But it's 10 below Celsius with snow and wind from the southeast at 30 knots. Okay, let's look at the snow accumulation forecast map. Why not? We interrupt the tropical weather update to bring you the snowfall forecast. And that's 1 to 3 feet of snow in parts of eastern Greenland and the immediate coast in southeastern Alaska. We'll be showing those snow maps, but not that often. Back to the hurricanes. So probably the feature that we're all looking at now is that red X off of Africa. And that is forecast, well, Katia did form, so the K-storm is out there, but it's not long for this world. And so it's now Lee, potential Lee, is going to be a long-tracked storm coming across the equatorial Atlantic Ocean and moving to the north of the Caribbean late in the period, which is good. And that system probably recurves north of the Caribbean and stays out to sea. We're talking 10 days now. You see it on that big picture map. I have to show the really big picture to get a grip on what the hurricanes are going to do, or potential hurricanes. So we're pretty much safe from any tropical systems here in New England. People ask me, what about 2 or 3 weeks down the road? Well, even way down the road, it still looks like we're going to have troughing in southeastern Canada, so anything that forms would stay out to our south and east. We've already had the record rainfall this year, so we'll take the rain without the destructive wind anytime. It's still weather being weather. The differential heating of the Earth's surface, the sun heats up the equator way more than it heats up the North Pole, so the air at the equator is warmer, lighter, it rises. The air at the North Pole is colder, it sinks. The colder air tries to head south, the warmer air heads north, warmer air heads north, and that is weather being weather. And so we got the tropical energy in the form of rain without the wind this year. Although it's not a done deal, but the peak of hurricane season is in the next 2 weeks. Look what T-Rex is doing. He's just laying right down in the driveway, loving this summer weather, as are we. It's the Labor Day weekend. I'd rather die while I'm living than live while I'm dead. You know that song, Boat Drinks? Beam me somewhere, Mr. Scott. Rex, what's those sleepies in your eyes? The story of Boat Drinks. Jimmy Buffett was at Daisy Buchanan's when it was owned by Derek Sanderson in Boston. It was cold, it was freezing, he was drunk. He went outside, couldn't find a cab, but there was one running. So Jimmy got in the cab and drove it back to the hotel. And he said, that old saying, I'd rather beg forgiveness than ask permission. And he left the fare on the seat. A lot of Jimmy Buffett stories being passed around this morning. T-Rex never got to meet him, but I got to meet him. Joe Pantorno introduced us at the Pearl on Nantucket, and Joe was the one that got Jimmy out of the water when his Grumman seaplane tipped over off of Nantucket in 1994. Sad weekend. Happy memories. Talk to you later.